If you're watching this, you're probably thinking about an NPSP to Agentforce nonprofit migration and how to do it without huge time and expense. The hardest part of migrations is actually understanding what you have and what you need. Once you have that, the technical stuff can all fall into place. But creating really good requirements and deeply understanding what your nonprofit needs to transition to the next thing is the most important piece of making sure that your project is successful. That is what Glossa is built for. I'm Allie. I'm the founder of Glossa. Before I started Glossa, I was a product manager at Salesforce, working on NPSP, specifically for fundraising, and also launched what was then called Nonprofit Cloud, now Agentforce Nonprofit for fundraising. So I've been thinking about these products and these problems for a pretty long time. Glossa is normally used by SIs to manage Salesforce implementations because, just like for nonprofits, for SIs, good requirements are really at the heart of successful projects. But I have really seen a need in the community for something to help with these migrations from NPSP to Agentforce Nonprofit. So we are building a free version of Glossa specifically for nonprofits that are moving from NPSP to Agentforce Nonprofit with FinDock in partnership with the Beyond NPSP program. For nonprofits that are making the move, Glossa turns the messy and distributed knowledge about your internal processes and pain points with NPSP into clean and organized, reviewable requirements that your SI can run with. And even more importantly, it gives you visibility into what's out of the box with Agentforce Nonprofit and what's going to be custom for your project. So it prevents the information asymmetry that you typically see, where the SI knows so much more about the solution and the nonprofit knows so much more about their business. This way, you can really deeply understand how your organization's needs map to what's possible. And with that information, you can make the decisions that are right for your organization. Let me show you what it looks like. This is the library. When you sign up, your account comes preloaded with a curated library of every standard Agentforce nonprofit capability, things like recurring donations, soft credits, household management, and it's written not only with the capabilities that you need in your language, but also with analogs of how it worked in NPSP and how it works in NPC, so you can continue to learn. Each capability is a starting point, right? It describes what the feature does, the typical configuration choices, migration considerations for moving from NPSP to NPC. This is all just reference material, but it's reference that comes out of the box, and it's a lot easier to digest, in my opinion, than reading documentation. But that is not the real value. The real value is digesting everything that's relevant about your organization and turning it into requirements. This can be SOPs, meeting recordings, anywhere you're talking or documenting how you use NPSP today, what's working and what's not working. Traditionally, in a project, an SI does this type of discovery by interviewing your team and your staff, and it's paid. You're paying for the opportunity to tell them about your processes, but you own the knowledge. The hard part is organizing it. So put whatever you have into Glossa. Glossa extracts requirements, and these requirements are typically clear, specific, well-structured, and you can always see what document or conversation each one came from, so nothing gets lost or invented. And then coming all the way back around, Glossa matches each requirement to an Agentforce nonprofit capability. So that way you can pretty easily see what's out of the box, what's going to be custom, and so you can see the risks really easily. And then you can make informed decisions about whether you want to spend a lot of money to build this one aspect custom, or if it's maybe not that important to your org and you want to go the standard way. NPSP and Agentforce Nonprofit are really quite different. The data model is different. The things you may have taken for granted, like households, have changed significantly. If you go into a migration with a vague picture of how your org uses NPSP today, you're going to come out the other side with an Agentforce Nonprofit implementation that reflects that vague understanding. As they say, garbage in, garbage out. Glossa is how you go in with a clear picture. Instead of spending months paying an SI in discovery, just put your existing organizational knowledge to use, because the work of organizing what you already know is now structured, fast, and AI assisted. Glossa for Nonprofits is free for organizations that are preparing for an Agentforce for Nonprofits with FinDock migration through the Beyond NPSP program. If you want to see how it would work for your specific situation with your documents, your SI, your timeline, book a demo at glossapro.ai, or you can just email me directly and we'll walk through it together. Thanks for watching.